Hey guys, today's video is on what men want. So this one is for the ladies today, and it's part 3 of this ongoing series about the masculine and the feminine, what men and what women are looking for. So this video should hopefully bring to light some important issues that perhaps you're not even cognizant or aware of, and so you can make some specific adjustments to your attitude when you're out and about dating or trying to meet guys. Okay, so the first thing to keep in mind is that there's a lot of noise out there telling you to be this way or that way. I see a lot of feminist literature that what it tries to do is it's trying to make women into men and men into women in many ways. And what I see is that this is very, very damaging, because what it does is it's taking us away from our core identity and our authentic place in how we feel as an authentic human being. So what I want to touch upon here is that men and women have incredible key differences, and the point here is really just to embrace and celebrate these differences for the wondrous beauty that they add to a relationship, right? Because men and women are two complementary pieces of a puzzle, and that we need to appreciate the differences in order to get the kinds of fulfillment, emotional fulfillment that we're looking for in a relationship. And the added challenge, of course, for women is that most women work in environments where potentially it could be a corporate environment where they're surrounded by this hyper masculinity, right? This need to be setting goals and achieving goals and delivering numbers and doing all this sort of stuff. And so it can be hard to release yourself of that environment when you leave the office. So what I want to invite you to do is to put that to the side for now, and then look into ways that you can transform the way that you show up in places outside of work, right? So I understand that work is a very masculine driven place, and yes, you have certain ways of being that are you just need to be like that in order to succeed within that environment. But these ways of being, these attitudes, are just not all that helpful when it comes to showing up on a date or trying to attract a masculine guy, assuming that you're looking for the masculine sort of a guy. So I'm going to give you 5 tips today on some things that you can do to become more feminine in your everyday space outside of work. Okay, so number 1 is to be softer. Right, create more softness in the way that you interact, in the way that you show up, in the way that you remain present in the moment. Allow yourself to flow more. Right, so understand that what works at work doesn't work in the same way in terms of a relationship. And so what I see is many women still have that hard edge to them, right? So when they see a guy and are interacting with a guy, that can come across as very harsh, very with a very sharp edge to them. Maybe they're giving them feedback that's just a little bit too direct and a little bit too blunt. And so, guys are very ego-driven, as we know. And so this can often really pierce them to the core when they're getting the sort of feedback that they would expect and embrace at work from somebody that they would otherwise be potentially romantically or sexually interested in. So just develop that softness to your character. Think about ways that you can be more nurturing in nature, more caring. So instead of being directive, like, you can guide somebody towards a similar conclusion, but you can do it in a way that's a lot more soft and more nurturing in nature. Number two is to encourage guys to stand up and take the lead. Right? Another unfortunate sort of, I guess, outcome of being in this goal-oriented, action-oriented space from 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 or whatever hours you work is that sometimes when you come out of that space or you're still in that space, you're still switched on. It's like, okay, I want you to meet me at 4:30 at this cafe. Don't be late, blah, 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 this kind of attitude. Whereas guys want to have an opportunity to stand up and take the lead, right? So ways to do this is instead of demanding that they do certain things, say, hey, it'd be really nice to see you, and it'd be really nice to share a glass of wine together sometime. Encourage them to step up and do the asking you out on a date thing, right? And then when it comes to the actual date, so ask some things like, so where are you going to take me? Right? Which is encouraging them to be a little bit like, okay, where can I take this woman? So by encouraging them to step up and take the lead, you're encouraging them to take on the sort of behaviors that you want them to take, which is to really be solid, to hold that space for you, right? And so if you watch the previous video about what it is that women are looking for, get an understanding of what may be inside you, be thinking of ways that you can encourage them to assume those behaviors, right? Instead of just being critical of them when they don't deliver exactly what you want. You can start to be encouraging of certain behaviors and say, hey, I really felt great when you did this for me. Like being very complimentary and rewarding them when they're doing stuff that you really love, right? Is going to help them really like, okay, I just have to do more of that, right? Be saying things like, I really love it when you're communicating at a deep level, when you're opening yourself up to me. I really appreciate it when you tell me how you feel. Instead of holding things on to yourself and being, maybe allowing things to bottle up inside you. I really appreciate it when you let me know when things are feeling uncomfortable for you. Like these ways that you can encourage them to be more expressive as well. And allow the man to make more decisions, right? And for everything, whether it be what place he takes you for dinner or some things you might be doing on the weekend, or like guys want to feel like they're making things happen. And so the more that you can allow him to feel like he's playing that role, the more he's going to warm up to being with you, because you allow him to feel more in his masculine, and that's a very empowering thing for a guy. Thirdly, move, act, and speak more from the heart, and not just the brain, right? So, acting from the brain in that very logical space is what the masculine's all about. Acting from the heart and the more from the feeling space is what the feminine is all about. And so, by shutting off the brain and giving more airtime to express yourself through the heart, is really, it's going to be that voice like a siren that just draws him in, because that's what guys, us as men, are attracted to, is that flowy, emotionally in tune space, right? It's our complementary opposite, and that's what we're looking for, what we're attracted to. And so it could be things like being in touch with your body, right? Knowing how it feels and feeling how your body moves through space. Taking dancing classes is also another way that you can learn to get more in your body. Because when you're in your body, you're more in that space where you're feeling the world around you, right? Not just thinking about things. And so the more sensuality that you can develop, right? And the way that you move and the way that you show up in that space, the more he's just going to find you more and more irresistible, because there's nothing more irresistible than a man, because we're very, very visual creatures, than a woman who knows how to flow through the air as a very empowered and confident sexual being, right? So get more in touch with your body. And so be following your heart and not just what your logical brain tells you, okay? Next, show vulnerability, right? Be open, allow yourself to be expressive, and show your vulnerability, and connect through the heart space. So one of the things that men absolutely adore and I love about women is that ability to be emotionally expressive and feel like, you know, they can step up and hold space for you, right? So allow yourself to be vulnerable, allow yourself to be expressive and open, and be connected through the heart space. So what you want, because guys typically don't get a chance to be expressive from the heart. They don't get to express themselves in that way with other guys and their friends on a day-to-day basis. They really relish the opportunity to be able to do that with somebody. So allow yourself to be connected to that space. Next, number 4 is to demand the man's presence, right? And don't be afraid to call him out on his BS, right? So when you see it, be powerful enough in your feminine, in your woman, to be able to say, hey, you know what? I understand you're not right here, but I would really love it if you could just be a little bit more present with me. Or, you know, if a guy is just saying something that's just nonsensical, just say, hey, you know, like, I know that that's probably not you being your authentic, genuine self, but, you know, this is what I see is happening. So being able to call them out on their BS without being overly critical, without being attacking to their ego so much. So remember, being that soft person, being softer about you know, how you show up and how you communicate is going to allow yourself to call him out on stuff, but while being that feminine entity as well. So, you know, be a powerful woman, be a powerful feminine force. So also you need to understand that guys can't multitask in the way that women do, right? So they can't be thinking about what to cook for dinner while, you know, remembering the present that they need to buy for their cousin for their birthday, while also, you know, thinking about the 20,000 things that they need to do for work. So understand the guys compartmentalize things. So when they're at work, they're at work. When they're with you, they should be with you. And if they're not, that means that they're being taken away somewhere else. If they're not present, say, hey, you know, say something like, hey, you know, I know that you're not quite, you know, I feel that you're not quite here right now. Do you need to go off and take care of something first before coming back? Right? Give them the opportunity to do that, because otherwise it's going to be on their mind, right? And they're never really going to truly be present with you. So if they feel like they're distracted, it's just because they haven't been able to release themselves of something important that's going on. So if you sense that, say, hey, you know, I'm not quite sure what's going on. You know, what's going on for you right now? Like, is there something at work that you need to be taking care of? What is it? And encourage them to like voice that and step up and admit to it and say, hey, you know, if that's the case, I understand that, you know, these things are important. So please go off and just get that done, and then I'll be here for you when you're finished, right? Don't be kicking up a fuss. Don't be overly frustrated at them because of their inability to put things to rest. Give them an opportunity to take care of things, and then they can come back and be fully present and fully there for you. Okay. And number 5 is to surrender yourself. Now, surrendering is not an act of weakness, right? It sounds like it, right? Because when you're waving the white flag, you're surrendering. You've lost a war, you've lost a battle. Somehow, in our vernacular, this translates to weakness, that you're less than, that you're surrendering to them because you've been overpowered, that you're overcome. No. When you surrender as a woman, you're doing it from a place of absolute power. It's like you're giving them permission to take the lead. You're giving them permission to take control, right? Because you feel safe enough. And when you encourage him to be more solid, when you encourage him to hold space for you, when you encourage him to step up and take the lead, then you can surrender. When he steps up and demonstrates that he's trustworthy, that he can handle you, then you are able to surrender. But you surrendering and encouraging him to do that is a really powerful thing, because it's the time where the man feels like, I've got this woman. I'm feeling like I'm in my full, powerful, masculine state, and it's an absolute buzz. And so, we all understand that women are incredibly powerful, incredibly intelligent, incredibly independent beings, right? It's been proved to us time and time again over the preceding decades. And yes, we understand that there is still these patriarchal undertones in our society and everything, but that doesn't mean that you need to be controlling, that you need to take control of everything all the time. You can allow yourself not to be dependent, but to release yourself of this need to be independent, right? There is a difference there. You're not relying on them, but you're enabling them, you're allowing them to take the lead. You're allowing them to stand up and do things for you. You're allowing them to feel like that they're there and they're caring for you and they're doing things for you, which is going to make them feel like they're in their empowered masculine state. And this is really, really powerful. So I want you to really understand this and get this, that this is not a show of weakness. This is not you subjugating yourself to the man. No, this is you being in your power and giving him permission to stand up and do things for you. Because when he starts to lead you, when you allow him to start to lead you, then he feels like he's making things happen. And that's going to cater to his masculine ego, which is really going to turn him on. It's going to make him really super passionate about you. He's going to make you really, really attracted to you, because he knows that he can feel like he is doing everything that he's been taught that he has to do or he's supposed to do as a man. And this is not to lower yourself and your status or anything at all, right? This is about you opening your heart, opening your body, opening your mind to him. And also the surrender, the sexual surrender, when you allow him to take control and lead you in the bedroom as well. When you surrender yourself to him physically, that comes from a place of confidence, of courage, of strength, and vulnerability. All these things that are really, really powerfully attractive is where you're coming from. Okay, so really, in conclusion, just know that as men and women, we should be celebrating our differences, not neutralizing them, not saying that, hey, men and women should all be doing exactly the same things, that we're all the same, that there's no such thing as gender roles, and there's no such thing as gender anymore. This is what's destroying attraction within our society, and the reason why we're getting frustrated that we're not finding the sort of people that we can feel ourselves attracted to, because we're being lost in this whole divisive argument about how women should be, how men should be. What I'm trying to encourage you to do is to say, hey, men and women are different, and we should be celebrating those differences and holding those each side of that equation in equal esteem, with giving them equal respect and saying they're both equally valuable, they're both deserving of equal respect, and not to try to lower one underneath the other so that we can feel like we're somehow more powerful than the other. No. We are equally empowered and powerful beings, and we have complementary gifts to give one another. And the more that we embrace that and understand that, the more that we can really truly connect and be in a space where we can feel this amazing attraction for each other, and then we can fall in love and hopefully have these amazing relationships that we've always dreamed about. So that's the end of this 3-part series, guys, on the man, the woman, masculine, feminine. And I really hope that this has been somewhat enlightening. And yes, it's going to cause some people to go, no, 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 no. You know, fuck the patriarchy, fuck you for challenging me as a woman or as a man. Guys, I'm just talking about the basic nature of men and women and what we're attracted to, so we can either turn our eyes away from it and not accept it and believe in something else, or we can learn to embrace this idea that it's not lowering either one of us to the other at all, and we can learn to love ourselves for who we truly are on the inside, and learn to be more attractive and use that as a power instead of thinking of it as a weakness. So that's it. You know, would love to hear your comments on this stuff. You know, feel free to comment on the blog below, and that's it for today, guys. I hope that you really take this stuff seriously and really think about it. Hopefully this takes you to a whole new level in terms of your understanding of the nature of attraction and how it is that men and women complement each other. And so thanks again, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.